All right, so hopefully my traction issues of the track come to a slight mitigation. I know they could have got bigger, or we could have got bigger. I'll tell you why I chose these size, but let's see. Super excited to open this. And here they are, 13-inch Lensos. These things are super light. So I'm gonna mount these in a second, but there you go. I got some M&H 23-inch. So I got the 23 inches for various reasons. One of the reasons is the car is not, it's not a drag car. Yeah, I just did a drag session with it and I want to autocross the car and other stuff. I just wanted to give myself a little bit more of what I can get on the drag strip and just see what it goes. That being said, the car this week I just drove, it's been beautiful in Florida, so I just got to drive it the last 2 weeks straight to work. So I don't want to always constantly having to mess with the ride height and suspension and stuff. So in came the 23s. Hopefully I can just put these on. I won't have to mess with the ride height too much. If I do, I'm gonna raise it maybe just a little bit just to give myself the clearance, and that's where she'll reside for the rest of her life for the most part. I wanna be able to just drive the car to and from work, whatever the case is, go to a car meet, and then let's say the drag strip's on Sunday, I can just take these wheels off, throw these Lensos on, and go and not have to really worry about much. So let's unbox the other one. All right, here we go. All right, the jack is all the way out. Hell yeah. So all I have to do is do a slight little turning test, but it should be just fine, just like my regular wheels. Man, I can't wait for the drag strip now. Man, those look good. So here's the wheel full turn to the right. You can still see I can kind of get my hand just a little bit in there. So I don't know if I'm gonna raise the car up yet. I can do a full turn lock to lock. The wheel is not touching, but the suspension is not bouncing or anything like that. So if anything, I'll probably raise the car. I'm talking like 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch max in the front. We'll see. Or maybe just try this out and see where she goes. Another thing that came in the package that I thought was pretty cool. Bought the wheels and everything from IPG Parts. Super fast shipping, super nice people. And then I don't know, this goes a long way. I don't even know, I don't care if James here handwrites a ton of them or whatever the case is, but I really actually appreciate that he sort of just wrote like a nice little note just saying thank you for ordering. And came an IPG sticker. And of course, obviously, this sticker's super cool. I know it's an all motor car they have, but I don't care. I kind of want to order something else again now, maybe some stickers, because I need one for the toolbox and then one just for safekeeping for whatever the case is. All right, so the cooling's been fine in the car. I have the fan currently turning on at 192, or anything above 192, so it turns on basically when it hits 195. And with the 80-degree summer right now in Florida, I know it's gonna get hotter, it stays basically at 192. It may creep to 195, but it'll go down to 192 pretty quick. So anyone that has a CRX obviously knows there's not a lot of bumper room to get back to the radiator, which is why in the previous video you saw the little ducting that I did. So, and up in here I kind of cut this back. So I've explored some options, right? Some people online basically just come right here, cut straight up to the black, and just let all that be exposed. Some folks I've chatted with have done all other kinds of things that I've seen online. They'll basically remove the T-bar, hood pins for the hood, and they'll basically cut a nice piece of aluminum right here that goes directly into the radiator at that point. Trying to keep the car kind of with its OEM-ish, resto mod-ish, whatever term you want to use, kind of look and vibe to it. So I don't really want to cut into the hood. The bumper, I don't mind it being cut out like that. That doesn't really bother me. So the option was explored, obviously, to maybe make a thing here a long time ago. Basically just cut out this and put like a piece of nice aluminum here, paint it black or something, and whatever, bolt it to it. Then I was talking to Rico. He showed me his. He's basically got a screen put there, kind of similar to that other idea. The only downfall in my situation is this intercooler comes all the way up. It comes, I doubt you'll be able to see it, but it comes basically just all the way up to this black piece. So even if I did something just right here, it is gonna let the intercooler come through a little bit more, but which would be more air coming through the intercooler to get to the radiator, but I think it would just look, I don't know. So I don't wanna mess with this bumper. It is okay as of right now. Wintertime, she's way good. Summer, she's still okay. The IITs obviously just go up. But I've got a spare bumper up on the shelf right about there. It's a brand new OEM bumper. Or not new, but it's just an OEM, you know, aftermarket OEM, whatever, replacement bumper. I think I'm just gonna modify that. I think I'm just gonna go straight to it. I'm gonna just cut everything out like it was to fit on this car. And I'm just gonna cut right here, just straight up. Or maybe a little bit, I don't know. We'll go up and we'll just see what it looks like. Before I touch this bumper, and we'll do some driving tests and see if it actually, when cruising, if it does help or not. It should at least, if anything, at least help the IITs cool down faster, which they already cool down fast enough, but I say faster because you're gonna get that much more of the intercooler basically exposed. So let's see. So the bumper's on the car. I just went for a drive down the street. Normally, so with the spout fan, the Go Auto Works radiator, everything stays cool. The car does not overheat. I just gonna keep stressing that, so I know people are gonna be like, why are you messing with it if it doesn't overheat? Because in theory, when the car is driving, when it is accelerating, the air running into the radiator should cool it, and the fan should not be running while you're driving. So as of what it has been doing is the car won't go above 195, but the fan stays on pretty much and just stays on, and car doesn't go above 195, so we are cool there, and that's during some pulls, everything else. It may peak to like 197 during a pull, but it'll quickly cool back down. So after this bumper modification, I just drove down the street. I had the cooling fan to come on at 192 and above 30 or and below 30 miles an hour. So it got to like 195, fan kicked on, drove down the road, and the car just maintained 195 for probably a 6-mile drive, like cruising at 50 without the fan even coming on. So I'm gonna say this does work, but I don't like really what it looks like at the moment. So yeah, I just kind of temporarily put it on there, ignore some of the yellow paint and stuff, and I have to go back with the Dremel and actually like fine trim some of this stuff up to fit. But so as you can see, I just cut this whole top area out. Hindsight 2020, maybe I should have left, I thought about maybe just measuring up to here and leave this and just cutting out the section, but I thought that ultimately would have looked kind of stupid. And being here's the old bumper, it would have been like, I don't know, like right here, over, and then over. I think this would have looked not uniform. I know I'm kind of talking about looks here versus actual performance, but so a little far away shot, it's just completely open. And you can see how tall the intercooler is. So I mean, it's almost flush with the bottom of this right here. So I guess there's just some air that's just kind of coming and maybe just riding up over, going into the intercooler. I don't know. I'm in a dilemma. I just love the way that looks. I should just be okay because the fan's just running. And in the wintertime, it's not like that. In the wintertime, it's enough passes through. I don't know, maybe it doesn't look that bad. Obviously, it does look a little naked without the lip. I'm not gonna argue that because I trimmed so much of this away. It looks like I need to trim a little bit back there just to kind of clear that weld a little bit, but yeah. All right. Tiny little Craftsman air compressor that I don't know if it's going to work or not. I've never painted anything in my life, but we're about to find out. I know I don't need a gallon of paint, but it is what it is. I put an entire gallon of paint, a bunch of other mixing supplies for it. I'm using Eurochem. It's supposed to be the same color as the car. We'll find out if it is or not. Not to mention, I think the color that they used for when I got my car painted was Sherwin-Williams. This is whoever Eurochem is, but it's just what I found online that seemed to be a good, decent deal. So essentially now, since I've never painted, it's gonna be a huge long time lapse, but this is like the $100 Harbor Freight gun. I just cleaned out with some mineral spirits, kind of adjusted the fan and everything like that. I'm gonna put some coat in it, or some base coat in it, mix it up, blah, 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 and then test it on that piece of cardboard over there, and we'll just see what happens. I'm not gonna walk through this because I do not know how to paint, and we're gonna see how this comes out. There's coat one. I laid it on, I think kind of light. I'm not sure. Still see some black coming through. I didn't want to get crazy. I dialed back the paint a little bit as far as the output after the first kind of coat there, but I'd rather lay more like dry coats, I guess. Got to get a little bit more in there, but we'll see.
All right, probably kind of hard to see on the camera, but I think it's coming out exceptionally well. That coat was a little bit heavier. I'll probably do a fourth coat because we mixed way too much paint. So I'll just do a fourth just for good measures. Try to maybe get in some areas that I didn't get, like right there needs a little bit more of a touch. It's just, I guess, some practice, but the majority parts, the big parts that everyone will see, are definitely getting covered pretty well. All right, so the base coat's on. We're using the same thing I kind of showed earlier. It's the 2K urethane clear coat by them with activator. So we know on the cut before we did on the 2-to-1 scale, we went to 2. And we ended up getting rid of quite a bit of paint. And that was with 4 coats? 4 coats. We probably could have just went to 1 and been good. So this mixture ratio says it's 4-to-1. So we're probably just gonna go to 1 on the clear coat and then 1 on the second line there. We're gonna basically pour clear coat up to 1 and pour activator up to 1. Now the instructions say that we only have 30 to 45 minutes with that, with a 15-minute flash dry time in between the coats. So I might end up doing 10 minutes. It is a little hotter than 75 degrees out. So I'm gonna try to see if I can just get this one mixture and get 3 good coats of clear coat over it. I want to make sure of this. All right, now or never, here we go. So here it is after like 4 hours. I know it's not probably the best light. I do think there's quite a bit of orange peel up at the top, it looks like. Again, really hard to see unless the light hits it just right, but I'm gonna unpeel the tape and I'll wait till tomorrow. We'll see if I can then buff it and see if it comes out any cleaner, but I think it'll really show a contrast of what the color's gonna look like once the tape's off. All right, so it's been 24 hours. I maybe give myself a 6.5 out of 10, maybe. How good the bumper looks. It does look good in camera, I'm not gonna argue that. And it looks decent in person too if you just walk up on it. So over here, if you look and get some light, just reflections, you can kind of see there is some orange peel, but I think that's totally buffable, I think. Not really a big body guy, but I think it's probably buffable. I'm not unhappy with it. And it's kind of like that all the way around, following out over here. Over here is where the worst of the orange peel kind of is. But I might be able to buff that out too either way. It still has a slick, glossy feel to it. Come down here a little bit, it doesn't as much as it does up here. Now up here is the problem area. It is smooth, yes. Like it's not like anything landed in it, but you can kind of look and see the texture of it. I'm really sure I laid this way too light each time. I never laid like a nice wet coat and I did not overlap enough. I think it was just on me. I think the gun settings were right, I think. And it was just mainly on me. So I'm gonna rescuff this. Now it'll be really easy to tape with my paint lines, but I'm gonna retape this or resand this, probably just lightly sand it, just try to see if I can buff it out to see what it does look like, and then sand it some more and actually reshoot it. All right, so there's 4 coats. I don't think it's gonna come through just clear enough, but it is exponentially smoother than when I did this earlier yesterday. Exponentially smooth, as in there's no texture in the bumper. So gonna mix some clear now here and kind of do the same sort of stuff I just did a second ago and see how it comes out. This is the face of defeat. I give up. I don't really give up. I'm gonna go at this again for a third time. That'll be a different video for real this time. So here they are, just kind of sitting in the same light. The color I do believe is a little lighter on the one I just painted. Just kind of turning on a light just to kind of get a, they're pretty similar. Either way. So I'm thinking of too, just to call this the race bumper or whatever the case, I don't know. Thinking of just putting like a logo or something going across the front there, just kind of distract. Anywho's, so here's why this is a failure. Or some more reasons, I should say. So this one I waited 24 hours, and I guess maybe my tape job wasn't as good. It was a little worse. Boom, check that out. Oh yeah, that's great. Maybe I just didn't sand it well enough. I don't know. Because the tape worked out fine here on the bottom. Like, sounds crazy, but I'm really happy with some of those straight lines. Like, I don't think I could have got any straighter. It's very easy to mess up, you know, a non-straight line. So there was just still all of that up there. It's frustrating. I don't know what is in the clear. If someone can give me some notes on what I'm doing wrong. The base coat laid great. The clear, I don't know. What I'm gonna do is take this piece of metal here that I already kind of tested on before. I'm gonna sand this thing and treat it exactly like I am this bumper. Except the bumper is obviously plastic and not metal. And I'm gonna spray that dang piece of metal or numerous pieces of metal until the clear coat looks good on it. Maybe do I need to, after the base coat is kind of dried a little bit after an hour or two, just gently wet sand it? Is it doing that because there's stuff on it? I'll be honest, I'm not touching it. Fans are off in the garage. If there's dust in here, there's dust, but it doesn't feel like much. But then why does that side come out? The side of the bumper came out so good. I don't know. I really just don't know. Unless it is dust on it. So I'm gonna end the video here. A little discouraged on it, but I'm going to go at it again. Again, I've got a gallon of this stuff, so I feel like I can go again numerous more times. So I'm gonna try attempt 3. So I'm sorry if you don't want to see another video on this, but that will be my next video. I'm probably gonna put this together, upload this now, and come out here and sand this thing. Sometimes you fail, that is what it is. You just learn from your mistakes and hopefully push forward and succeed at a later on date. So hopefully everyone's doing well during this COVID-19 situation. And if you can, leave some questions, or some comments I should say, down below on regarding painting. I am all ears at this point.